the other person's podcast you did. Don't get mad at me, okay? Because there's room for two of us, yeah,
okay.
to have podcasts. All right, okay, Opalite, let's start with that one.
All right.
Okay, let's start here. I'm gonna play it first, and then we'll talk about it. Here, let's get a taste. You know the words already? Yeah, you can sing along, go ahead. Oh my God.
Oh my God. The way they know every word.
Already. Look at that.
Oh my God.
Come on, wow.
You got like 6 minutes to learn all the words and you've done it. That's unbelievable.
That's kind of amazing.
Oh, that felt...
Everyone in the audience.
This has always blown my mind a little bit. 53% of you that listen to the show regularly haven't yet subscribed to the show. So could I ask you for a favor before we start? If you like the show and you like what we do here and you want to support us, the free, simple way that you can do just that is by hitting the subscribe button. And my commitment to you is if you do that, then I'll do everything in my power, me and my team, to make sure that this show is better for you every single week. We'll listen to your feedback, we'll find the guests that you want me to speak to, and we'll continue to do what we do. Thank you so much. Jimmy, we've really just only met, and you are already, to me, a bit of a Rubik's Cube.
Okay.
In so many ways. And I've been trying to piece the pieces together to understand the uniqueness of you, because you're so unbelievably unique. We just drove over here in the car, and hearing you speak about the way that you view life and speaking to you yesterday on the phone, I've interviewed hundreds and hundreds of people, and I've never, ever met someone who has the perspective on.
This came after CBS and Paramount settled a lawsuit for another $16 million over Trump's claims that the network's show 60 Minutes doctored interview footage of Kamala Harris. I covered the Colbert and Paramount stuff on our last What the Is Happening video about why South Park has been going after Trump. You can watch that video for more information. But after Colbert's show was canceled on July 22nd, President Trump posted to Truth Social threatening that Jimmy Kimmel and Jimmy Fallon would be next. On Wednesday, September 10th, conservative activist and Trump ally Charlie Kirk was murdered by an assassin's bullet at Utah Valley University. 22-year-old Tyler Robinson was taken into custody. So in this next section, I'm going to briefly go into some of the background on Charlie Kirk and Tyler Robinson just to give you some context. But if you feel you know enough of those details and just want to get to the Kimmel part of this, you can skip to the next chapter. Okay, Charlie Kirk was the 31-year-old founder of Turning Point USA, a conservative outreach organization that aims to recruit young voters to the MAGA movement. Kirk was known for touring the country, specifically to college campuses, hosting debates with most of the time left-leaning students on hot-button issues. I did not agree with Charlie Kirk's
children my entire career in these types of cases. And it's not unusual at all that this victim would not go tell someone right away. You know, he's a boy. He doesn't know what to do. He's 12 years old. This is a shocking, unbelievable incident to him. And kids don't know how to react to that. I think she also down the road kind of threatened him and said, hey, you can't tell anyone about this. That's always very effective on the victim. And so it's not unusual at all that he didn't tell, or at least didn't tell for a while, truly. And so the other thing is these other boys saw it. Again, it's not unusual for other boys who saw it not to tell. I mean, they're probably talking amongst themselves, but for them to go to an adult and say what happened, they probably think no adult's going to believe this.
Yeah, but you know what? Out. So I was, I knew we were going to do Venom. I just didn't know how we were going to do it. And 5 years later, here it is.
How long ago did you know you were doing Venom? Like, because that happened obviously mid development of the first game.
Yeah, it was pretty much when we were kind of working. I would probably say like halfway through the project, we were like, how do we cap this off? And we knew one of them was going to be Miles getting bit and showing that he has the powers. And then we were like, well, why don't we? And it was a little bit also like getting a better understanding of what Norman was doing with all those tests and trying to figure it out, and learning that one of the other experiments was going on was this with the symbiote. So we knew probably, I'm trying to remember, that's a long time ago and I'm really old. My memory's getting bad. I would say probably like halfway through, and then it was like, and then we said, oh, it's going to be Harry in the tank.
A monster single that fused together themes of immigration, public paranoia, and being a gangster, with biting satire, blasting gunshot effects, and an eternal pop hook. This is New British Canon, and this is the story of Paper Planes. MIA didn't have the most traditional upbringing. She was born Maya Mathangi Arupaprasam in London, 1975. Her family moved back to Jaffna in their native Sri Lanka when she was 6 months old. Maya and her family were part of the Tamil minority, which faced increasing hostilities with the majority Sinhalese population and government. Her father was founder of one of the Tamil separatist movements and a government target, so was rarely present. When she was 9, her primary school was destroyed in a government raid. The family, minus her father, moved back to London in 1986 as refugees.
Yeah, I lost mine. I wonder if you lose vanity as you get a little bit older. Like not you, but like what is that?
I don't know. I see some people like I don't know. It's hard to tell because you see some people like doing crazy looking things, and you think like that looks crazy. Why are you trying to look 18 years old? You know what I mean?
Like that guy who's on Celebrity Big Brother right now. Who's that guy? He kind of looks like Jack Sparrow.
I don't know what you're talking about, but I can imagine. You know what I mean? You kind of can like I think you can go one of two ways. Like if you see yourself all the time, and especially if like the way you make a living is by kind of in part the way you look or whatever, it feels like, people can get like obsessed with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's kind of.
This country has become so authoritarian, the Germans are like, come here, come loose. My boyhood idols, Howard Stern and David Letterman, were very considerate and kind, and I feel honored to be part of a group of people that knows what goes into doing a show like this. And I also want to thank all of you. Thanks to who supported our show, cared enough to do something about it, to make your voices heard so that mine can be heard. I will never forget it. And maybe most of all, I want to thank the people who don't support my show and what I believe, but support my right to share those beliefs anyway.
The Disney Channel is on the air.
In the spring of 1977, Jim Jamiro, a visionary at the Walt Disney Company, went to his higher-ups about an idea for a children's and family network called the Disney Channel, a variety show of sorts that would entertain the masses. Unfortunately, in the late 70s, there were only about 1.2 million cable subscribers nationwide, and although Disney executives liked the idea, they essentially laughed in Jim's face. He is quoted saying, "Back then we could have done it for 50 cents. Everybody liked the idea, but the truth is nobody took it seriously." Their reaction was essentially, "Jim, go do your 8mm home movies."
We did the channel because we did a lot of research that showed that there are literally tens of millions of people across this country who really wanted a kind of wholesome or family programming that wasn't being offered. Benton & Bull's advertising agency did a study fairly recently that indicated that something like 33% of the people who don't
to listen to what Walt Disney said. It is important to understand who he was. What was the last thing that he planned? Maybe Epcot, his last project, would reveal something about him. The world was still mourning the loss of the storyteller, the loss of the character, the death of Uncle Walt. All they saw was a big American, one of the biggest. But how was he any different than Ford, or Hearst, or John Doe? He was as loved and as hated and as talked about as any person in his time. But when he came to die, he had something on his mind called Epcot. What does it mean? It deserves investigation. Epcot, its origins and its fate. Certainly, it must turn out to be a very